Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Starseed Academy and these Pleiadian Sunday School Pleiadian channelings, stroke teachings with myself, Soma Ara. Today's date is the 26th of October 2025, and the time is 7:23 p.m. here in Ireland. I'm joined this evening by Brian Seng, the Solar Bee, who many of you will know, and Alex Nielsen, ascendedpathway.org. I'm not going to be doing a usual channeling this evening, and I didn't do the usual last night either, but we're going to be having a kind of a little catch up. The clocks have changed here in Ireland today, so the time now is 7:24 p.m. here in Ireland. Um, so that has probably affected some people joining. But we're going to have like a personal catch up and also a collective catch up. So, welcome everyone, and thanks for being here, you guys. So, who would like to start with a personal catch up? What's been going on the last couple of weeks with you guys?
I
Well,
can
the
go.
the yeah,
All
good,
right, feel
Alex.
free.
Good, Alex.
All right, yeah. So the past, well, like October in general has been huge for me. I found my way into this workshop called The Way Through, and I can't go into too much detail what happened there because it's fairly secret, just the whole process in general. But it was intense, transformative, and oh my goodness, I was able to access some deep wounds, do some real hard shadow work stuff that needed to happen for years and years and years. Um, and while I was there, I met somebody and I showed him my book that I had just released called Restoring the Divine Masculine. He saw it and he offered to set me up for a book signing down in Florida and also invited me to another workshop through the Mankind Project. And the Mankind Project, I don't know too much about, but this workshop was also very powerfully transformative. It was like it took any remnants of any wounds, any more shadow work, any self-doubt, and just scraped the bottom of the barrel, got it out, and I came out of it feeling like a brand new person. Then I had the book signing. It went super, super well. I just got back into town a couple days ago. And today I'm preparing for a spiritual ceremony I'll be doing later on today throughout the night. And I'm intending on contacting several different extraterrestrial entities, and then just listening what the message of the universe is for me. So that's been my week, my month.
That's quite some transformations. Yeah. All full steam ahead, it feels like.
And I've
And
been
Absolutely.
in a
Brian,
whole
do you want to go next?
yeah, well, I've been in a
Well
bit of
done
a
on
whole.
your book, Alex.
What's that?
Oh,
What did you say?
Well
it
done
says
on
my
your book.
internet
Oh,
connection
thank
is
you.
unstable, but it should be
Yeah.
okay.
And for me, I've been in a bit of a holding pattern because banks, including Chase Bank, they've been doing everything they can to hold on to the funds of, business partners. And even though, they'll use any excuse under the sun to hold your money, and then perhaps while they're holding it for days and weeks, um, they're trading against it. And so that's held up various projects. Recently, we've got some very nationally known high-powered attorneys involved, and to let them know now they're not just trying to push around individuals, but they're working with people who has a very seasoned attorney with very big connections who can hold the banks liable for wrongdoing, because they do that stuff on a daily basis. And so this is leading to the freeing up of our funds. And there's been a lot of projects that have been on hold up until now because of these stalled funds. And there are people in the community who are rumor mongering and defaming my good friend Sarah R. Adams and I, because they don't want to see us succeed. Um, One person is a scam artist who's literally defrauded or stolen over $100,000 from Sarah because as her former business manager, he had access to her bank accounts, like emails, website. So he's also been defrauding and scamming people in her name, selling fake consults with her that she obviously never shows up to because she's not aware he's scheduling them. He takes their money, and then when obviously they get angry for being scammed, he blames it on Sarah, saying, "Oh, she's lost her mind. I don't know what to do. She's gone crazy. I'm so sorry." And um, there's a lot more to that, but needless to say, there's been a lot of attack our way, in addition, a lot of support, but a lot of attack because there are forces who don't want to see us open up this new Starseed Education, Activation, and Research Center for Humanity in Sedona, Arizona, as we're very soon to do now that the money is unlocked and being and flowing, starting to flow. Um, and they've been making up rumors this whole time, saying, "Oh, the deal isn't going through. Brian's a con artist. He's making up all this stuff, blah, 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 blah." And so, um, it'll be a lot of vindication and it'll just be exhilarating to have the forward motion. Tomorrow, Monday, we should see a lot more motion, since not a lot of banking business occurs on Sundays.
Wow, that's a whole lot of stuff there, Brian, and it's really amazing what you're doing. Um, and yeah, I do see it happening. And we were talking about this a little bit yesterday about the infiltration and the arguments between people within the disclosure movement. Um, and
But
I'm
you get, I think there's a good topic here, just for like a Sunday school thing real quick on discernment and breakdown. When we look at our community, there are people who have memories, they're in the programs, they're real, and then in the here and now, they are earnest characters trying to get the word out. And they've done generally those people have done a lot of personal healing work and processing to be who they are and to give their testimonies and to really advance the full disclosure movement. Then you've got people who they're real, they were in the programs, um, but they've done not so much the healing work and they've got a lot of distortion still. So on the one hand, while they do have good, real, true testimony to share, a lot of their opinions or how they interpret what their memories are, or maybe they're getting hit with voice to skull and they're susceptible to repeating some of the voice to skull attacks or infiltration. And so they're going to present themselves on the scene as being real, which they are, but they're not a clear channel. Okay. Just like in the channeling community, yeah, sure, Bashar, he's channeling, but is he a clear channel? I personally will say no. He pushed the shots and other stuff, and it's on his website for anyone who wants to see that. Um, then you've got people who they're in the programs, they don't have any memories, they're all garbled, and then they've been programmed to be Manchurian candidates to then infiltrate and attack our community. So they're real. They don't even know it, but they are so programmed and so sick that they're basically time bombs that the other side throws at us. That's the Eugene uh I'm forgetting his name now.
I
Uh
don't know it.
yeah, well Gene he's threatened a lot of people in our community
Gene
with bodily
decodes?
physical harm. What's that?
Gene decodes?
No, no, not Gene Decodes. No, no, no,
Okay,
no, 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 no.
okay.
No, 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 no. This Gene Decodes is great. I took out this, I forget, Sonny Gene Irvin or Eugene Sonny Irvin. He's one of these people he falls in this category where he literally death threats, myself included, people and others in our community who are very real. And from my understanding, his father was a Dallas, Texas businessman back in the day, George Bush era, ran with those spooky types. And Eugene was then dragged into the programs as a child, unfortunately, abused in those programs. And then now he's got this MK Ultra programming that he's somehow a white hat and he's going to save us all. And if we don't work with him and give him money, then we're black hats and we're the enemy. And then he does this programming to over and over and over to many people in our community over the last decade plus now, 11 years probably going.
Wow. And
You've
what's
got
his name? Sorry?
Eugene Sonny Irvin, and then he's got
Okay.
about 12 different Facebook accounts. Then you've
Wow.
got Jesse Balk, who likewise physically threatens people. On the one hand, he has some memories of being MK Ultra'd as a child, but then his memories of fighting reptilians and stuff, he says, oh, that's all comic book. But then other times he's not sure if the secret space program is real or not. But then what he'll do is he'll go on interviews and say, well, the MK Ultra satanic ritual abuse is real. That happens here on Earth, but all that spaceship secret space program stuff, that's AI simulation that they're putting people through. That's like an arcade game. Don't disregard it. And then in the meantime, he'll physically threaten people in our community. And there's literally was arrested in his township in New York State, I think it was,
Oh,
for physically threatening the police department on a Facebook live rant. So
wow.
while he was threatening many of us for years, very vocally and visibly, the authorities never did anything. At the point where he threatened the local police department because he was butthurt that they gave him a traffic citation and threw him on the ground, pulled him out of a car, apparently, according to one of his rants. Then he went and said, "Oh, I'm going to burn down and kill every blah 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 blah," to their police department, and they brought him in, and that's a matter of public record. And so then you've got people who they weren't part of the programs, and they're just straight up infiltrator trolls and disinformation agents. People like Richard Doty, okay, who literally caused a UFO whistleblower to commit suicide. Did some decades ago now. Then you've got um, people who Um, yeah, I mean, but there's this whole breakdown. I mean, of people, and people think we're all like one homogenous thing. We're all one community, and why can't we all just get along? And it's like, I get along with some people, but other people, they've got knives coming at us. They want to poison our food and drink, and we're not one big community.
Yeah. Do you think it's just a process of being that we're going through of it being cleaned up?
Well, the cleanup happens as the dialogue becomes more clear across a wider cross section of first the disclosure community. Okay. And then we're able to present a much more clear united front rather than like all this infighting between us. Or if there's going to be infighting, at least we've got clear factions and we've got we're going to have what's going to happen in every movement is you have a leadership faction that emerges to the forefront. Why are they leadership? Because they've got the clearest analysis. They're performing the most results for whatever movement it is. And if they fail or falter, then they get pushed aside. But in the meantime, they're leadership. And then that's where it becomes important. Because in the past, where we've had bad leadership in the movement, it's been very damaging. And that's where you saw the Corey Good uh, lawsuit debacle where he claimed all the secret space program stuff, which people have been speaking about for at least 10 years before he ever emerged on the scene. All of a sudden, out of this lawsuit, it emerged that he claimed it was his intellectual property. And this is all science fiction, which then, in the eyes of the public, that set back our movement for disclosure by, I would say, about 5 years.
Yeah. I remember one of the last interviews I saw of him. He was on a stage somewhere and it was being streamed live, I think, or it was recorded. I think it was a live event and it was being streamed. I don't know if it was live or not. I don't know if the stream was live, but he just looked a complete mess. like he looked unkempt. His clothes were unironed, crumpled. He was unshaven. His skin didn't look well. He looked like he really needed a good sleep and a good meal. He looked like he was seriously being targeted, and it was affecting him substantially. And that was
Yeah,
one of the last.
we're all being targeted, and
This was,
the
yeah,
less work that we've done, the more we open we are to that targeting. And in his case, I would say, at the point where he's done all this damage and he hasn't done a mea culpa yet, as far as I know, and said, okay, it wasn't just my intellectual property. I'm not a science fiction author. This is based off multiple testimonies and it's based on real, and yes, David Wilcock and I made a joke about blue chickens, but the reality is there are avian races and some of them are blue. So sure, you can jokingly call them blue chickens, but does that mean that they don't exist? No, they exist, guys, gals. Yeah, but you see the damage done.
yes. And this interview was, I think it was about 4 years ago. It was quite a while ago. Um, but my feeling is strongly that you should connect with Greg Braden. He really seems to be stepping up with his work and and the stuff that he's sharing. It's just amazing stuff, Brian. I really hope that you can get together with him.
I've connections to him and the center that we're acquiring. He's one of the people that it's cited for having spoken there probably multiple times is Dr. Greg Braden. So, once I get the center acquired and then I've got the renovations underway and
Yeah,
we've filled out our foundation board and the staff and our programming and our event lineup, and how we're going to upgrade the center. And then we'll start rotating people through for retreats, you know, that's the point where I'll be able to say, hey, Dr. Braden,
yeah,
speak to me. I'm worth your time.
yeah. Fantastic.
Mhm.
I admire him so much because he's really backing up the science of what so many of us have been saying for years. And he seems to have really stepped up since 2020 as well with what he's saying. Um, and so for the audience listening, I really recommend going and watching some of his later stuff, where he's talking about DNA and how we didn't evolve naturally. Our DNA was interfered with is the wrong word, but it was
Edited.
edited. Thanks, Brian. It was edited and changed. So to to advance us. And that was obviously, in my mind, in my understanding, was obviously done by a positive alien race who
Well,
adapted.
it's multiple races. That's why you
Yes,
got the Asians versus the Africans versus the Caucasians, that we don't come from the same genetic ancestry alone. There's Asian ET races looking at ET races out there. You've probably seen some of them, right?
yeah,
Who look just like Japanese and Chinese people running around. And then there's Mexican looking or Latin looking races, and then even very indigenous looking
yeah,
races like the Olmecs.
yeah,
That's not a common that's not a common ancestry there.
yeah. I totally agree. And I was shown a race of, I think it was, I say the word Chinese, but I kind of want to replace that with Asian, um, where an Asian race evolved from um, a group of alien beings that were very Asian looking. So yeah, totally agree with you. And then of course you've got the tall whites, you've got the blonde, blue-eyed, and you've got there's so many tribes that
Well, the tall whites might be the Anunnaki. And so that's where a lot of the Anunnaki are not necessarily friendly to humanity's interests because those are the ones who are part of, enslaving humanity with the negative draconians who are still around and doing that. But I hear it's more the Anunnaki than the draconian even these days. messing with humanity, but then Earth is more draconian space, and it's a draconian military presence to be. Well, up close, you could probably. So up here on the screen, we've got from the Three Eye Atlas group, or one of them on Facebook. This is a supposed image of Three Eye Atlas. And then when speaking with Soma Ara here, she says that she's gotten to clairvoyantly see, or I don't know if you see it in the astral Soma or remote viewing, um, this from a more closer vantage point than what we're seeing from Earth or our satellites. And what did you say it looks like compared to what we see here on our screen?
Well, so okay, so a couple of things there. I am a channel for the Pleiadians, and I see things very visually, but it's probably, I've come to realize I probably do more of some type of remote viewing with some of the things I've seen. But I was seeing Three Eye Atlas from above, and I was seeing it where I was looking at it kind of, it was straight and it was long. So I was looking at it from a different angle. And it was more of a solid object, but there were lights coming from it. Um,
What you saw, how much did what you saw match up with what we're seeing here on screen?
90%.
90%. Again, it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
That's very good. And then did you want to go into your channeling first, or did you want me to give like what my analysis is, or
Yeah, please, Brian, go ahead.
okay. So my analysis of Three Eye Atlas, first of all, Three Eye stands for the third interstellar object that they've discovered this year. That is a large mothership. It's friendly because it's very well lit up. It's announcing itself. It's got other craft tailing it and also apparently changing direction towards Earth as it changes direction. And so to me, that looks like kind of a cruise ship party conga line of friendly craft. And this is also in combination with other information I've received about the negative draconians, being at least more militarily counteracted, also along with the negative Anunnaki by positive Galactic Federation types and council types who are assembling their own craft. And the reporting of Dr. Michael Salla and JP Missions, where they're talking about space arcs being brought to back to life that may have been buried deep here on the surface of our planet underneath like, the ice of Antarctica as well. And this is in time with the transition of humanity being enslaved to the mostly Anunnaki and Draconians for tens of thousands of years, at least in this last cycle alone, to a changeover where humanity is becoming more consciously ascended spiritually and also being liberated in terms of breaking free of this prison planet control. And so what we're seeing is literally an intergalactic celebration, reunion all around Earth. And Three Eye Atlas is part of it. And meanwhile, the negative government agency types, including NASA and certain factions of the Pentagon, they're going to try to push this as a negative thing, some kind of negative ET invasion. One, to try to keep things like Project Bluebeam alive, and two, just to generally keep an elevated state of fear and paranoia there, anything to lower the vibration, because contrary to them, Three Eye Atlas is actually lit up like a cruise ship steaming our way with a party line to raise the consciousness and vibration of humanity by clearly demonstrating galactic friendship and community in a very bright and non-threatening way. Just like we've had ships that were announced to us through the Farsight Institute last November appearing in our skies, and they've been hovering in our skies around the world in a very non-threatening way. And what did the governments and lamestream media do? They tried to pivot our attention to drones in New Jersey, dumping gas weird chemical gas on people versus a worldwide UFO phenomenon, including craft far beyond human capacity. And so that's my analysis is that it's a friendly ship, the Rai Atlas. And so, on those grounds, I welcome it.
Thank you, Brian.
Mhm. We're gathering here for the highest, greatest good of all with no conflicting agendas, um, so that we can um, advance humanity and bring the messages forth from our friends, the Pleiadians, via Soma Ara here. And we do this in blessings, as above, so below, as within, so without. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. We're delighted to be with you as always. And as we blend more with Soma now and take her into a deeper, what some would call a trance state, we're delighted to be with you and begin our transmissions and blending with her as we begin. By speaking more slowly, we will speed up and take her into a deeper state. We do ask all of you to support each other in these times of huge transition period. We can confirm that the 3i Atlas that so many of you, including Soma, have been witnessing, observing, questioning, including Soma. We've channeled this before, though she does often forget what we have said. This is what you would call, or Soma would call, a mothership with the Galactic Federation of Light and many a family of light, many different species that are coming together, that have united, that are working together for the collective of. When we say the collective, we do not really mean humanity. We are more more the collective of the universe. There are many tribes from different places in your universe that are coming to assist you in a stronger way, not to save you, not as a savior, but more of to be more of a remembrance of who you are, where you're from, why you're here. Brian was speaking earlier of different cultures and skin colors that we have previously many times said through Soma to Soma that you are all mm, from different alien species, races. There is much going on your planet at the moment. Many of you are aware, but there is even more going on behind the scenes, behind locked doors, underground, deep military bases, technology, experiments, events, situations to do with technology, to do with DNA, to do with cells, to do with atoms, to do with time, to do with space. There are many projects that have huge funding. Stonehenge is not what you think it is. There are reports now coming of the stones. Beneath the stones, there are images, videos, or pictures of Stonehenge and some of the stones being covered beneath the stone by being covered by concrete or similar materials, meaning it is man-made or been changed to look like something like big stones. And we previously showed Soma an image of Stonehenge that looks different to what it is today on your planet. We showed her a much larger circle of larger stones, which is more in keeping with the original Stonehenge. Everything has been changed, inverted, and adapted, and we don't want to veer too much off the subject of 3i Atlas. There's more information to come about this 3i Atlas or mothership or form of transport for us. We will share more about this in the coming days, weeks, and months. The sooner the better.
Can you show Soma if they have a dance club on board? Because I'm sure they do. Want to see, show her at least one, please.
What we are showing her is rooms filled with light, with healing frequencies, where we get to, in your words, we get to recuperate, although we do not really need this. And we include ourselves on this ship. We do not really need to recuperate in the same way as human beings do. But we do have these healing recuperation rooms. We have sound frequency, we have lights, we have infrared and different types of equivalent of infrared light that cannot really be seen with the human eye, but we have healing light that is unseen to the naked eye, mostly. although it may show up as being flickers of a brighter light within the room. We have sound, we have crystals, we have healing, we have everything we need. There are several different beings that we are showing Soma, and one of them is what she would describe as being a Sasquatch, or very similar to a Sasquatch, almost like the first Sasquatch or the original beings of Sasquatch.
Are they known as Alachim?
You may know them as that. Soma does not.
Okay. And Christopher Jacobs refers to a lot of that off-world Sasquatch as being the ancestors or progenitors of the ones that we see here on Earth, and that the
It is
ones,
the same group.
yeah, and the older ones from off planet are much longer lived, much older, and powerful, as old and powerful as the ones down here are.
Yes, we confirm that this is accurate. Soma does not really know too much about this group in her logical mind, but we are showing her images of these beings who she has seen before on some of your fictional star
Like Chewbacca, does it beings look, do they look like Chewbacca? A Wookiee type?
Soma does not know what that is, but
Like hairy, like a tall, hairy being,
yes,
like a super hairy Sasquatch, but with like more longer, shinier hair.
yes, smoother, silkier,
Mhm. Mhm.
shiny, well kept. It may surprise many of you, but Soma has never really watched Star Wars or Star Trek. Glimpses, yes.
So is Healing Chambers recreational as well? Or is it more of just a healing type medical function?
There's not really a difference for us. It
Do you
is
listen to
a
music on board?
Soma is finding it fascinating because what we are saying she's not heard of before or seen before, but we are showing her very different rooms that are that we have adapted to prepare ourselves for your world and different worlds. The three, and this is very interesting to Soma, the three-eye atlas is not the only ship. There are even more than three, and there are ones that are also going to other habited planets where there are similar, it is a similar setup to Earth, the planet Earth, and humanity, where we have rooms that are we have adapted to prepare us for the worlds that we are revisiting. So we are able to um, prepare ourselves with we are educating ourselves in preparation for connecting with you again, whether we do this in a a physical landing, or from above, where we reinstate the telepathy abilities that you do have, that you once had on a more daily basis. So we have created rooms. For example, we have created an earth room. As an example, we have created an earth room where we are watching movies, we are listening to music, we are becoming aware of your environment. It is more of a what you would call um,
Earth Habitat Simulator.
yes, thank you. It's a simulation of Earth. Some of you on Earth have simulations where in games it is similar to this, but it is not. It is not a small piece of technology, but it is the room itself where we are able to watch images on holographic images come to life, and we are able to see your movies, we are able to hear your music, we are able to wear your clothes, we are able to, as much as possibly we can, we are able to step into your energy and experience this as if we were you. That what we've said is very important. And we use technology to do this in a very holographic way. And what we're showing Soma is the holographic in the center of the room. There are large windows, glass windows that we are able to see out of. There is a technology um, um, uh, uh,
Keyboards or screens, consoles.
thank you. Yes, like a large console,
Bank.
or buttons that are all different. And it is a circular area.
Control systems.
Yes, control system. Thank you for finding the words for Soma and us. It is a control system, and the windows are curved. They're large windows, again oblong, and there are chairs um, behind the.
It can arc the curve of the console.
Yes, thank you. And over here there are teleportive devices, almost the same as you see on the movies. Teleportation devices that are like tubes where you step into. These have Soma has witnessed these or watched these on the movie called forgets the name now. Begins with P. Prometheus. Thank you. Prometheus. Teleportation devices that we do use. We are also learning about your mathematics and your how Earth has been we are learning many things that we know already, but we are learning it from your perspective that is almost has a curtain around it or has been boxed in. Like we are learning how your consciousness has remained
The
caged.
human's eye, the human's eye view, as opposed to looking from the outside, you get to see from the human's eye view, trying to swimming in this quagmire, what it's like to try to perceive the reality of the wider universe and our own condition.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And the thank you is from us and Soma, because she sometimes does struggle to find the words to articulate what we are saying, whether that is a telepathic or a vision, images. She does sometimes struggle to find the words. Not all of the time, but some of the time. So 6 months from now is important. We've said this before. we want to remind people that we also shared a message with Soma that was a very short, clear, direct, what Soma would say, no nonsense message regarding Charlie Kirk and the fake assassination attempt or presentation assassination attempt on his life. And we stand by what we previously told Soma, that he is still well and alive, although that will raise some hairs on the backs of your necks, those listening in the future, but we stand by the message that we shared with her previously, that he is still alive.
Was he pulled into a trap door underneath that stage area and the quad where he was speaking?
Most likely, most probably. What we will most definitely say is that he was not assassinated. He is still alive and well, and the event was set up by the white hats who came to him with the events that would have played out by the black hats, where he was going to be involved in a very real assassination, where the black hats would have taken him out, in Soma's words, and the white hats stepped in order to continue his life. And he is alive and well.
Could he become president someday?
We doubt it.
Okay.
We feel that that would be too much of a shock to humanity as a collective to discover that he is still alive.
Someday that it might be revealed again on a more public basis.
It is possible. There is no threat from Three-Eye Atlas to humanity, or let us say the human collective. The vast majority of people, there is no threat from Three-Eye Atlas. And we are aware, very aware, of situations regarding the likes of Charlie Kirk and others on your planet. And we do work very closely with certain members of your government officials.
Mhm. Are there positive draconians, or at least neutral draconians, on Three Eye Atlas? When Sebastian Martin and other remote viewers have blind remote targeted the craft, it's not that they got anything threatening off of it, as far as I remember what they said, or Sebastian Martin said, but that they did detect a high number of draconian type beings on the craft.
There are many beings on this ship.
Mhm.
All are what Soma would call good, of a higher frequency. It's interesting because since the dawn of time, there have been many hundreds of thousands of experiments of creation, of human beings, of blending and mixing DNA to result in hybrids, for want of a better word, a mix of human and half animal. There are many depictions of this on your planet, in surfaces, whether they be caves or etchings or hieroglyphics or stone etched into stone. There are depictions of half horse, half man, half human, half animal. There have been hundreds of thousands of experiments within the universe, not just on Earth, but on other planets. Your universe is teeming with all sorts of life. And many of these, most of these, not all of these, but most of these, the vast majority, have divided like humanity has divided into good and bad. There are very good humans on your planet, and there are very bad humans on your planet. That we are not speaking of the negative alien races on your planet. We are simply speaking of the humans on your planet. There are good humans on your planet, and there are bad humans on your planet. There are good aliens on your planet, and there are bad aliens on your planet. And this is the same within the universe. It surprises Soma for us to eventually say to her that there are good us and there are bad us being the Pleiadian collective, Ashtar in particular. She has not been wanting to hear this for quite some time, but it is time now for all of you to evolve and to step into the next level, step up to, step onto, step into the next level of awareness and truth with acceptance. Unity, love, frequency is what you all need to work on, including Soma. There are vast civilizations that have been wiped out completely and almost, different ones that have been completely wiped out and some that have almost been wiped out. Many giving the appearance of humans or alien races, but we also include the likes of the dinosaurs within this. There is nothing on the walls or the caves that has not been etched in, such as the likes of half human, half animal, or animals that have become extinct, such as dinosaurs that did not once walk on your planet or some planet, mostly Earth, which is why they are etched into the walls. They are a part of your history. They once existed. They once were made by us or the likes of us. These are not these are not mythological creatures. We come back with teachings of truth, of your history, of your science, of your math, of your ethers, of your physics, of your gravity. to relearn, to remember, to reevaluate, to reignite, to readjust, to re-deliver, to remember who you are, why you're here, and where you're from. Stop playing small. We thank you. We thank you. As we step back this evening, we want to remind you how epic this time on your planet is, and it is not limited to us. Be love, be light, be truth. And speak this out, whether it is in words or frequency or energy or music, which we know you love. It is through music. Music is one of the easiest ways for human beings to raise their energy. Let us say that again. Music is one of the easiest ways for human beings to raise their energy. We ask, Soma will not continue our sentence.
Yeah, that's good confirmation. When they showed you the healing room, what did it look like?
I can't really speak, Brian. I'm sorry. It always takes me a few minutes.
That's right. Yeah, no worries. It sounds fun. You got to visit their ship. You got to visit Three Eye Atlas. So you got to go see what it looks like on the inside this time.
Let's take a break and then we can. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We were just taking a short break there. I am really in need of creating some income. So please come and get a reading with me or a channeling or a session or come and make a donation even. You can check out my website, somaara.love. But again, I have an empty fridge and ashamed to admit it, but here I am. And so please come help, donate, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, come and book in a reading with me.
And I can attest your readings are excellent. And I've done multiple sessions with you now, and the Pleiadians come through, and just like they've come through very clearly for this session that we're sharing with the public.
Thank you, Brian. I'm yeah, I'm very humbled to be able to do that. But it has been a real struggle, and they haven't landed me in a mansion somewhere, which it is would have been very nice,
Yeah, it's curious how that happens. Doesn't happen.
isn't it? Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of good stuff is coming to a lot of us. So let's step into that abundance energy.
It's on the way. It might even be as soon as tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, guys, I love you,
All right. Love you
and I'll see you
Love
too.
soon.
y'all. See
Love
y'all.
you too.
And then everyone, this session was very literally out of this world and very detailed information on the interior and functionality, Three-Eye Atlas and some of the inhabitants and what their intentions are, which are very, I'm very glad to say, very friendly. And please share this out and send people Soma R's way. Thank you.